Okay, so my bit is usually just to say thank you very much to everybody that has come today, that has been on a panel, has done a presentation, has done a stand for us, all of our partners, all of our sponsors, and most of all, the members of the Music Venues Alliance. Thank you so much for your participation and involvement.
I've got some announcements to make, as I always have. As soon as the slides work, I'll tell you what they are. All right. Okay, announcement number one. We are pleased to announce that following the success of Fight Back London, Sounds Like London in June this year, we will be announcing Fight Back Manchester, and that takes place from 16th to 30th of November in Manchester. As you can see on the screen, 150 shows, 16 venues, everybody working together in one town, one city, in a very concentrated period to raise all the issues we've been talking about today. First of all, a big round of applause for all the venues in Manchester getting together to do that. There's a load of people backing that. We've got Clint Boone backing it on XS Radio, is that right? XS, Manchester XS, and the nighttime economy advisor for Andy Burnham and Andy Burnham's team, Manchester MPs. So it's going to make a big noise, so that's going to be great. Which brings us on to Fight Back Lager. Who's tasted the lager?
Is it good?
Any good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, all those in favour of lager? Anybody against? Good, okay. I'm not completely sure on the address of the lager, but we'll circulate that by the end of this week. There is a website you can go to now where you can sign up your interest to stock Fight Back Lager. As we've always said, we're going to try and bring that to you at a reasonable price. That means that your venue can make money out of it. And I've just been handed it. This is a complicated address for anybody who's had several glasses of Fight Back Lager. The address is fightbacklager.com. Now, does anybody need a card, or can you all remember that, like I should have done? Okay, so if you go to fightbacklager.com, there is a very simple sign-up form. All we're asking you to do at the moment is register your interest in taking this lager and selling it in your venue. And as you know, we're hoping that every pint you sell will raise a little bit more money for your venue, and every pint you sell, the people who are brewing this Robinson's are going to make a donation to us. And that means we can start putting money back into venues directly from the centre. I think it's currently draft, but I'm going to say, somebody just shouted cans at me. Anybody for bottles? Bottles, cans? Lot of enthusiasm for cans, whoever's in charge of the Fight Back Lager, okay? Fight Back Manchester, Fight Back Lager. This bit of the wrap-up, I'm talking about what we can do ourselves, okay? And what we can do ourselves is we can try and work together to generate our own funds, and then when people come to us and say, this venue is closing because we haven't got £2,000 in legal fees, we can use that, and we can help each venue in this room to stay open collectively. So please, a lot of murmuring at the back. Please, it's so important to us that you get involved in this fight back, that your venue stands behind the Fight Back Lager, stands behind a fight back. Please host a gig for us. You know that Fight Back also includes initiatives for us to give you a bursary. £200 has gone into 35 venues already. It includes Fight Back Grassroots Promoter, where we're trying to bring young women in to promote venues, a show at your venue. We really need you to get behind those initiatives, because that's what we can do ourselves. The next one is a surprise to all of you. We are working on a partnership with The Great Escape so that grassroots music venues can get in cheaper. And so today I'm announcing that the next 25 of you that contact me can have a pass at below the lowest rate they sell one. So you can have one at 140 quid instead of 150 quid early bird, and the early bird tickets are already gone. And we're also going to be approaching outside sponsors to see if we can get even more of a subsidised ticket, and to see whether we can find some accommodation bursaries like we do for this event here. I think it's incredibly important that grassroots music venues are represented at the Great Escape, and frankly, that's the first phase of flying you all to Austin and getting you all to the South by Southwest for less than $600 fucking a ticket, all right? So we've done a deal with them straight away because this only happened last week. If 25 of you want to come to me for a cheaper ticket right now, we have a £140 ticket. That's a cheaper ticket you can get elsewhere. And we will be working on making it even cheaper for you to attend these other events where the music industry is and you need to be. So we're going to be working more on that. Bit of a round of applause for the Great Escape, not for me, but at least they're taking us seriously. You know, that's a good thing. The next one is, and I've seen so many of you that have been involved in this today, and it's been a really amazing process. I must not get too emotional at this point.
Do you want me to do it?
No, I'm going to pull myself together. Can you talk about Jan?
We have had a difficult time in the last few weeks as we've heard that two maverick but well-respected venue owners have died within our community. First of all, it was Tony from the Zanzibar in Liverpool, and then just this last week, Jan from Night and Day in Manchester. One of the things that we raised as a threat to the future of the circuit was a lack of succession for venues, because past history has seen examples such as TJ's closing in Newport when the owner died. And we absolutely want this not to happen. I'm not for a moment suggesting these two venues are going to close, by the way. I'm just saying it's another factor in the risks for venues, that when a key person dies, that creates a whole battery of other challenges to venues that are already challenged. Now, not only is it a sad loss from our community, but obviously it highlights the fact that in tough times, those human factors add yet more to the worries for the future of our venues. So I think it's been a sobering moment for us. And if I've missed anything, I'm going to hand back to Mark now.
I'm going to say we don't believe in silence in our venues. So, round of applause for Tony. And the reason I was doing that then is, as many of you will know, we're releasing 2 books. Not one book, we're going to put 2 books out. And the 2 books are how to open a grassroots music venue and how to run a grassroots music venue. And those books have been brought together by interviewing 30 of you that are running incredible venues across the country. And Night and Day was one of the venues that was interviewed. So it's kind of a tribute, really. But we'll be releasing those. I'm going to try and get them out by Christmas, because that belongs in your kid's stocking, how to open a grassroots music venue. Alongside the thing about how to become a doctor or an accountant or anything else that might pay you a living. But okay, so look out for those. They are genuinely touching stories of people who've been doing this for a long time, people who've just tried to do it. And we're going to couple that with a lot of technical information. And again, I'd like to say thank you to TicketWeb, who are going to do design for us and help us get these out to print, and to the Mayor of London's team, who actually gave us the money to employ a journalist and a photographer. Has anybody been taking their photo by Yannicka today? I think nearly everybody has, actually. But Yannicka's done a fantastic job, and there's just the most fantastic photo of Jan in that book, which we're going to publish. A bit personal for me, that bit, but I made it through. That's good, isn't it? Rug it up again. Proper manly. Let's go. Okay. The next bit to tell you is, has anybody had a look at the map over here yet? Who's missed the map? Okay. There's a physical map called it's from the Marvelous Maps Company. Take a look at it. You'll find your venue on it. When it was being done, I managed to get in there very early on, and we listed over 400 grassroots music venues. The map's very funny. There's also a deal you can get to buy that map My idea is, why don't you put that in the foyer of your venue and let everybody know you're part of this.
Can I just say, we'll take it with us over to Dead Doll's house so that if you haven't had a chance to look at it during the day, you can hopefully have a look at it if you're coming for drinks after the event.
But Humphrey, that's produced that, has done a special deal. I think it's like £11.99 or something, reduced from 15 quid. That'll do it for you. You can get a code to get it cheaper. It's definitely worth getting. And that goes alongside, we are finally publishing a map of all of the venues digitally. But we don't believe we own that information. We think you own that information. You should decide how your venue is represented. That's not for me to decide. So we have got Music Planet Live to produce the map you can see, which is incredibly blurry on that screen. It looks much better on your computer. And basically that lists all 470 members of the Music Venues Alliance using the best information we have. But if you write to Music Planet Live, you can get into the back end of that, your own account, and you can change the way that it's listed. Everything from the information that's on there to the picture they use, what you're described as. It's your information, and the more you engage with that, the better the information will be on that map. That map belongs to you. You can change any part of it to anything that you want. You can put as much of your information in public as you want, and we're going to be directing people through this address I do know. Musicvenuesalliance.com has gone live this afternoon, and that points directly at this map. Okay? So whenever everybody says to you, where are my other venues that are like you, just point them there. Musicvenuesalliance.com. Okay, and then finally, the slide didn't move.
What else was there?
Okay. Has anybody bothered to watch the whole of that parliamentary session last week? Oh, there's one hand gone up at the back. I was there, and Shouto was here. He was very good. Everybody say thank you to Shouto. Shouto was bloody excellent. Properly good. If you ever want an artist in your corner, put that guy on a panel. That was excellent. Okay, so at the parliamentary inquiry, DCMS live inquiry last week, there was a lot of talk, got reported in the music press. It was in Music Week, it was in Billboard, that the music industry is calling for a ticket tax. And the concept of the ticket tax came out because I dared to mention that the average level of subsidy for grassroots music venues in the UK across Europe is 35%. And the reason it's 35% rather than 41% is because we're as close to zero as makes no difference. So you take us out of the equation, a benefit of Brexit, and everybody else's subsidy looks better. So that's nice for them, isn't it? It's 41% of gross across the rest of Europe. It is not possible to run a music venue in this country less than 450 capacity, other than if you run it as a not-for-profit entity. That's a fact, and we need to get on top of that fact. Now, since that ticket tax came out, everybody started shouting at me saying we were trying to put the price of tickets up. And I said, well, it's not a ticket tax. It's a pipeline investment fund. And we're fed up of being told that Ed Sheeran can sell £160 million worth of tickets, and we're supposed to lose 50 quid on him because we can't sell 6 in order for him to sell £160 million worth of tickets. It's not anybody's fault, but every major company in this country that you know the name of, every single one of them is already paying a ticket tax in France. It's 3%. 3% of the tickets in France, the total value of the sales, goes into a fund, and it goes in to support grassroots music venues. It isn't good enough that a grassroots music venue in this country is closing down because it doesn't have £2,000 for legal fees in a £4.4 billion industry. That doesn't make sense. We don't think, Music Venue Trust doesn't think, that the government should solve this for us. We think the music industry should solve this for us. We have the money to do it. You've just seen a video that cost enough money to save Sticky Mike's Frog Bar in Brighton. Don't close the bar, don't make the video. Start making sensible choices. Now, before this turns into a kind of fascist rally where you just all cheer everything I'm saying, the point is, this is not difficult. And everybody's making it more difficult than it needs to be. The Pipeline Investment Fund is a statement of intent we're publishing at the end of this week, and we're calling on everybody who understands that, whether it's the head of Live Nation, or whether it's the head of AEG, or whether it's the head of SJM, or whether it's the head of all the agencies you've met today, let's all agree the very basic point that a pipeline investment fund must exist. Once we've agreed that, then we can all argue about who's going to pay it. Then we can all argue about which tax gets done and which doesn't get done. But at the moment, it's like the end of Reservoir Dogs, where everybody stood in a room pointing at each other while venues are closing, going, why don't you do it? No, you do it. No, you do it. Nobody cares who's going to do it. It's got to be done. That's it. So the Pipeline Investment Statement of Intent is a single-page PDF that simply says, I am committed to creating a fund that will stop grassroots music venues from closing, stop grassroots artists from losing money on touring, stop spending money on stupid stuff with the music industry, start investing in research and development so we continue to have the best music industry in the world for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and no venue in this country should close because it doesn't have £2,000 for legal fees in an industry that's worth that amount of money. So, when it goes up, I need you to get on social media straight away. I want everybody to be asked the question, have you signed this? Has your company signed to this? Has Glastonbury signed up to the Pipeline Investment Fund? And if it hasn't, let's start talking about why not. Do they not believe investing in talent? Do they not believe in investing in their venues? So, I've been told I've run out of time. I was just getting on a good one there.
Austerity's over.
Right. So listen, the Pipeline Investment Fund, it's got to happen. We all know that. Let's start campaigning for that actively. Let's work out the details afterwards. Let's get everybody agree that's what's going to happen. Okay?
Right. You finished?
And another bloody thing.
No, nothing else from Mark, because we need to clear this building. So, thank you once again, everybody, for your participation today. Can I just say, this is our 5th year for Venues Day, and we're very proud of being able to bring people together. We do need to thank our sponsors because they're the ones that make it possible to do that. I personally would like to thank Clara, Tom, Chris and Gary, without whom I could not produce a day like this. There are lots of other people involved as well, but those 4 particularly make it possible for me, as the only full-timer, to make a day like this happen. Please will you make your way over across the road to Dead Doll's House, where there are complimentary drinks on the bar available to us. Please, can you take as much of your stuff with you as possible? If you have empties, take them and put them in a bin, because we have 20 minutes to clear this building. Thank you.